Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, so we are going to start the second Dhamma discussion of this Kalalgoda English medium retreat. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with written questions and reports. So we will start the session with written reports.
Avasara Bhante, we have received about 11 reports today.
Right.
Report number 1, Most Venerable Bhante. Part 1, while walking meditation, I can concentrate on sensations of the feet without noting for a quite some time at a stretch. The warmth, coldness, roughness and smoothness, etc. Bhante, could you please explain next step to proceed? So, shall I go on about the other part also? Part 2?
Okay, yeah.
Part 2, recently I was advised not to sit for more than 20 minutes at a stretch due to a sickness of the back. Since then I meditate lying on the bed, which while meditating I don't feel sleepy. Is it okay to continue in this posture until I get cured, or am I to continue sitting meditation for 20 minutes with intervals in between? Thero Saranai.
I think lying down meditation is fine, but it depends on... but you have mentioned that you are not falling asleep, but you can continue without much trouble. So then it's all right. You can practice while in the lying down posture as well. And the other thing that you are asking is about the walking meditation, where you are able to maintain your attention without noting now. So basically, if you are able to do that, now that means a certain amount of concentration is already built up, certain amount of mindfulness is already available. So now you better introduce the clear comprehension, where you are trying to see things fairly clearly or comprehensively. Say, for example, you might have used the kind of a rough sensation to establish mindfulness. Say, for example, while you are walking, your foot is touching the ground. That touch sensation may be a fairly gross, easy to understand, easy to recognize type of sensation. So you might have used that to continue your practice. But apart from those, so there may be various other subtle and say little sensations. Say, for example, if you are simply practicing in this tile floor, there may be little coldness compared to the other surface, and maybe some soft sensation, maybe some gloss type of sensation, and maybe hardness. And maybe you are able to recognize how your body weight transfer from one leg to the other leg. And maybe while lifting your leg, how are you feeling? Are you feeling it heavy or lighter? As you're moving it, are you feeling it heavy or lighter? So likewise, very subtle kind of characteristics are there, which are not apparent at the beginning. But later, you may be able to recognize them once your concentration and mindfulness is fairly sharp. Now you try to recognize those, and that is where we are giving more emphasis onto the Vipassana part. So trying to recognize these characteristics, what we call as the elements characteristics. Probably you have heard about the 4 elements, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. So those are the constructing elements of all the physical experience. And say Patavi Dhatu, the earth element, has around 6 characteristics like hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness and lightness. Then the Apo Dhatu has some water characteristics like fluidity and the cohesion. Then the heat characteristics or heat element has temperature characteristics like the heat and the cold, hot and the cold. And then Vayo, the air element, has the moving nature and the say vibrations, movements, and even our body being say very much like maintaining the posture. All that comes as a result of the pressure coming from the air. So typically it's difficult to recognize that part, but anyway the movements you can easily recognize, vibrations you can easily recognize. So these are the most fundamental characteristics of the whole physical world. So we are now trying to connect with that, understand that. So in your working practice, so therefore try to recognize them. Yeah.
If the yogi wants to, most, thank you.
Yeah.
Report number 2. Report number 2. Most respected Bhante, Today early morning I spent around 1 hour on walking meditation and started as a beginner by giving attention to the foot sensation. After a few times I was able to identify the vibration of the elements without getting disturbed from the thoughts. Without any intention, the main focus went to the impermanence of the feelings. When the sounds are coming from the environment, I observed how mind is moving from body sensation to sounds too. Then identify quick and rapid changes of the mind too. I think I understood the changes in Rupa. Then, without giving attention to the body, I gave my focus to the mind and did the walking meditation. As it was a very peaceful stage, clearly identified the mind without thoughts. Question number 1. How can I identify the impermanence of the consciousness? Within brackets, not thoughts.
Yeah, one more. So actually the consciousness, that sense, we have to look at from a different angle. So, say for example, if you really want to recognize how consciousness arises and pass away, so we have to do some sort of a ayatana bhavana, where you are keeping your attention at the senses, say at your eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, body door, and then the mind door. So, and say for example, when we see something and the seeing happens, the seeing consciousness. So, typically we call it as eye consciousness. The seeing, the activity of seeing. Then the hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and then the knowing the part, the cognizing part. So, those are also instantaneous. So, even though we see continuously, but this is a continuity of arising and passing away of eye consciousness. So the ability to distinctly recognize some phenomena, say form, is the ability to arise a certain eye consciousness and then it pass away, then another eye consciousness, again it pass away. So by the way, it's difficult, to recognize it. So it's very quick and things are, it's a bit difficult for you to understand how consciousness arises and pass away. So idea is therefore to see, so that's why, we are taking the body, maybe, the body consciousness may be easy to understand, but eye consciousness may be a little difficult. But some yogis sometimes report, now even when you are looking outside, you see that things are quickly, disintegrating, bindenava, kind of disintegrating. So sometimes once someone has very sharp concentration, there may be a possibility that you even recognize that. So actually seeing certain outside phenomena, how quickly they arise and pass away. But very rarely, but not often. And hearing, of course, may be possible because sounds are quickly coming and going. That may be possible. Thing is, sound, in order to recognize some quick arising and passing away of sound, that means your consciousness also arising and passing away. So both are happening at very much like at the same time, but consciousness is even more rapid. So it's very difficult. The sound quickly come and go. Within that time, many sound, the ear consciousness may arise and pass away. But for us to understand that precision is very difficult. So that's why, it's very unlikely that we come to the exact arising and passing away of consciousness. It might be difficult. So what we do is to use the function of the consciousness. If you refer Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, so Buddha keep explaining the 6 dhatu. So typically we call as 4 dhatu, right? Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. But there are 6 elements sometimes explained. Akasa dhatu and the Vijnana dhatu. Akasa dhatu is the space element. Vijnana dhatu is the consciousness element. So how Buddha explained consciousness element is not directly as the consciousness element, but as the function of consciousness element. So the function of consciousness element is to recognize one function of the consciousness element is to recognize different functions or different feelings. Say when a certain happy feeling comes, pleasurable feeling comes, you can quickly recognize it. When unhappy feeling come, you can recognize it. Painful feeling come, you can recognize it. Then equanimous feeling come, you can recognize it. So the main function of the consciousness is to distinctly know something. Distinctly know something. So one example is the area of the feelings. So you can distinctly know different feelings. And sometimes Buddha gave examples using the tongue where different tastes are there. Say the bitter taste, maybe the sweet taste, maybe sour taste. So likewise different tastes are there. So when many say assume that you are eating. So while you are eating, so how are you recognizing different tastes? Maybe sweet taste, maybe sour taste, maybe little hot, or maybe salty, and different say type of tastes are there. So how are you recognizing that? So that is as a result of the function of consciousness. So with that only we can see that the consciousness is operating, because I am able to recognize these subtle differences of different tastes. I am able to recognize different feelings of the situation. That is because of the ability of the consciousness. So that is the way, from practical point of view, that is the way we are understanding the availability of the consciousness. But the interesting thing is, later as we practice, so this distinguished consciousness, so we can say the conditioned consciousness, start fading away. So that is the aim of Vipassana, where you see that so our mind typically focus onto one thing, and then we narrow down and focus and then distinctly recognize. So that is where we establish even the mindfulness, even the consciousness. The establishment is there, the recognition is there. You are thoroughly, steadily knowing that part, kind of framing our attention. But later, with practice, that framing part, restricting part, narrowing part reduces and mind opens up. So rather than now we are going for focused attention, now it's very much like freed awareness, freed open awareness. So the freed open awareness indicates that now that previous type of consciousness is no more. So if you refer the Kevadda Sutta, so Viññānaṁ anidassanam anantaṁ sabbato pabang. So that anidassana viññāna, the unestablished type of consciousness, is anantaṁ, so kind of infinite. It's not narrowed down, restricted, say framed, conditioned type of consciousness, but it's a vastness, complete openness. Anantaṁ sabbato pabang. And it is available when the wisdom is available. And it doesn't have any kind of dualistic type of conceptual parts, good, bad, say left, right, say long, short. Those kind of terminologies are not present there at that level. And the last statement is telling viññānassa nirodhena etthe tang uparujjati. Viññānassa nirodhena. So what is the viññāna which has completely ceased? That is that distinguishing consciousness. Say eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and all that type of the conditioned consciousness which is recognizing, okay, this is this is that. So that type of consciousness is completely ceased. So that is typically available because of the sankharas, typically available because of our ignorance. So our ignorance say, okay, now this is a clock. So now I am looking at the clock. So clock related consciousness is there. So the object related consciousness is there. Say now I am telling, okay, this is a bell. Okay, now I can focus onto that. But when your mind is completely released, so such kind of consciousness is absent. Just simply kind of a pervasive kind of consciousness is there. It is not established anywhere. So this is how we have to see how the kind of evolution of the consciousness happen as we progress in our Vipassana. So knowing how quickly arising and passing away of the consciousness is quite difficult. Yeah.
The part 2 of that, Bhante, could you please explain the difference of Vijnana and Nama under the Paticca Samuppada, please?
Yeah.
Thero
So that's the point. So now say for example, So Vijnana and Nama Rupa. Say I am looking at this. What's it? A clock. So assume that I have seen it, I have touched it, and even tasted it if possible. Then once I keep it and then go back to my room. So if can I imagine about it, remember about it? Possible, right? Maybe its shape, its color, its function, and the heaviness, whatever. So all that I can now recognize. So at that time, I am referring not to the physical object, but to the name and form. So the name part actually consists certain characteristics of the form of this physical object. Say, for example, the name part, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. So this is the name. The Nama has 5 constituent parts, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. Say, if this is a kind of a beautiful clock, then I might have a little attachment towards that. So when I am again reflecting about it, so I get maybe a little happy feeling. So that Vedana part may be a little happy feeling. Sanya, so I now get the mental image of this object as a clock. So now my mind has that sanya. Okay, this is the clock I have seen while I was talking. It was on the table. So all these different sanya is now appearing in the mind. Sanya, chetana. Probably I have a desire towards this now. Can I take it back when I am going? Okay, if I have a desire, okay, maybe there's a little chetana also included. Passa. So now the mind is occupied. So it's in contact with certain type of recognition. So the recognition part is there. Passa is there. Contact is there. So manasikara, now your attention is drawn to that. Now suppose that I was doing something else, reading a book, but immediately when the clock comes to the mind, probably I forget this, but my attention is diverted to this object. So manasikara is also there. So what is the form part? What is the rupa? Rupa is what I have extracted from this physical object, now handling at the mental level. So where this name and form is reflected, that's in the vijnana, that's in the consciousness. Say, for example, assume that consciousness is like this, a completely blank white space. So I can draw a picture of this in this canvas. So there, it is not the real object, by the way. It's a picture. It's a picture of this object appeared in the canvas. So when canvas is there, so now I pay my attention to that. Now I recognize, this is the clock. It's a beautiful clock. I like it. So all that comes to the play. So Vedana, Sanyas, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara all are present. With respect to a certain perception, a little sign, mark derived from this object appearing at the canvas, at the consciousness. So this is how the name and form, interacting, working together. Now, when it appears, now assume that now I have a further desire to it. Now I am further and further thinking. And now I can't just be, I get up and I want to come here and we need to look at it, whether someone has stolen it, because now I want it. Now you start functioning. That is the salayatana. Now I am walking the passa, vedana, and then the feelings are there, the desires are there. Now it's more into the gross level. Previously it is very subtle level, only at the mental name and form consciousness level, but now they have gone to the more grosser levels. Now I am coming here, taking the clock, I am, recognizing it, I want to hide it or whatever. Now I am born to it. I am a lover of this. I am no more that typical person. I am a thief then. If it is assumed, a thief, if he want to steal it, then he is born like that. So like that, this whole thing happens. So the triggering happens at the mind. So that momentum carries out at the mind, and once that momentum comes to a certain level, you can't simply sit quiet. You are compelled to function. That is where the 6 sense bases are coming into the operation. And then you are functioning, you are acting, you are walking, you are talking and looking at it. So that senses are operating. Eye sense is operating, you are walking, the body sense is operating, you are touching, grabbing, okay, your hand is operating, body is operating, you are thinking further about it, proliferating about it, the mind is further working. All that is into the operation. So it's how the whole Parisamuppada is coming to the full functioning now. So you are completely trapped now. Suffering is there. That's why so once it reached that very gross level momentum at the name and form, you are compelled to act. You can't simply sit quietly. You are compelled to act. Then you get up, then you walk, like that. So any activities, this is how we operate. So I have taken a simple example using this. Now you can apply it to any of other activities, how you are ignorantly compelled to work, how you are ignorantly, persuaded to do something. And then you being someone and you are born to a new state, completely, trapped in something. Kind of a thinking is going on, your imaginations are going on, you are working, talking, functioning, and you lost the mindfulness, unmindful totally, something like that.
Report number 3. Most Venerable Bhante, it is understood that when you are awake and eyes are open, you tend to generate more and more defilements into your account, and when you are sleeping, it is supposed to be a blessing that defilements can be kept at minimum level. However, scientists and psychologists are having an opinion that dreams reveal critical aspects about ourselves. They say the dreams are a reflection of your recent state of mind, future possibilities, and changes that you have experienced. When one sleeps, it keeps flowing and appears as a dream.
Sorry, last statement.
When one sleeps, it keeps flowing and appears as a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Classic example is that there is a belief when he was Bodhisattva, he had prophetic dreams about becoming a Buddha. This current of mind is the manifestation of craving and attachment. Arahants don't dream as they have stopped this mental current called cessation of perception. Also, there is another view to say that dreams are simply your karma restated.
Sorry.
Karma restated.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate your expertise views about this subject matters.
I thought dreaming.
Also, can we generate defilements through so-called bad dreams and get your defilement account credited? Thero Saranai.
So don't dream. So as you said, I think... So one thing is probably the dreaming can certainly increase as you introduce mindfulness to some extent at the beginning, because you are not allowing the mind to fantasize as much as possible. You are trying to be in the present moment, not allowing the mind to function the way it wants as before. So later what happens during the sleeping time, it starts talking and dreaming and all that. There's a little tendency in that. But later, as mind starts behaving well, so things start calming down. And so I don't know whether... Let me see whether I dreamed recently. So there are, this Western psychologists, actually they have given a fair emphasis onto this. I think this Carl Jung is... one psychologist who has given fair emphasis to dream reading. But in the Buddhist point of view, we are not much into that. So as you said, anyway, Buddha to be also has seen dreams. And sometimes King Kosala has seen dreams, and then he came to the Buddha and explained, and then Buddha has given certain interpretation. So those are there. But I mean, if you are trying to do a thorough analysis of your dreams, so I feel that we are diverted to another area. So reading about the dreams, analyzing them and all that may have some significance to understand our character and our inclinations in our mind. So our hopes, wish, etc., expectations may be represented in the dreams. But anyway, while you are conscious, you are mindful. You can see you have the options to what to do. So dreams may have happened, might giving you some indication. Okay, this is going to happen, or this is how your mind is currently working out. These are the expectations boiling at the bottom of your mind. Little indications are there, no problem. You can learn from that, get some warnings if you need. But mindful, you are currently mindful, you are fully awake. So I feel we don't need to give too much emphasis into dreams. So therefore, in the practice, Satipatthana practice, we are not much into the dream reading or giving much emphasis to the dreams. Rather, we are giving more emphasis to the awakened state. So how well you are awakened. So the Buddha is the awakened one. So you see things clearly with very attentiveness. So the sampajanakari hoti. A fair emphasis is there for the sampajanakari. That means you are fully, comprehensively awake and know things. Knowing is there. So even if you get thoughts about the dream, that is also a thought. You don't need to fantasize about the dream. You don't need to talk too much about the dream. It's a dream. It's gone. It's a past event. So what is happening right now? So therefore, just open up yourself, be with the present moment, and trust in the awareness, trust in the mindfulness. The dreams may indicate so many different things, and you can give various interpretations to that. And you can have your own interpretation. If you explain it to another psychologist, he may give his own interpretation. So based on our limited experience, based on our ways of looking at it, but everything can go wrong. So you can't be certain about the dream as far as I can see. So therefore, I don't like to recommend the dream reading and giving more emphasis into dream analysis, even though the Western psychology has given fair emphasis. But that's also only at one type of Western psychology, not everywhere. Carl Jung is the one I think has given more emphasis. And his teacher, what's his name? Floyd. So he hasn't much, but Carl Jung has given. But later, when it comes to cognitive therapy and all, that they don't give much emphasis. But they are giving the emphasis onto the current tendencies. So how are you taking a decision based on those current tendencies? So therefore, only one area of Western psychology has given emphasis to that, but not everywhere. So therefore, I don't like to give much emphasis onto this in the mindfulness practice. And I feel you may less dream as you practice. Because the daydreaming is not allowed as you practice. So you understand even now someone is daydreaming. At the final draw, I mean. But anyway, so as you continue the practice, you feel more awakened, and you can't fast asleep also. Now say, even at night, even the slightest sound may be enough for you to quickly wake up. You can't sleep like dead. Typically, there are people who even their roof is taken out, they are still sleeping. So you can't sleep like that as you practice mindfulness, because more and more emphasis is given to the awakefulness. So mindfulness has fair relationship with wakefulness. So you are fully awake. So mind is very attentive, and might be difficult even to sleep. That's also possible, because as you are very sharp, And you have to fairly calm down yourself, relax yourself, comfort yourself, then only it will slowly go to sleep. So if you do some strenuous practice, that is also not a good thing. So it also can disturb your sleep. So the balancing of your sleep, also one part of it. Actually, I can remember when I first practicing Anapanasati, I put too much effort. There are several days I couldn't sleep well. Too much, how to say, energy, we can say, or enthusiasm. So I want to quickly do this, quickly get jhana, whatever. Ultimately, no jhana, but no even sleep. So these are very interesting areas, by the way. So this is it. I think you understood my point. Yeah.
Report number 4. Question regarding Dhamma sermon. Yesterday it was mentioned that Passa Pacca Sankhara, cause of Sankhara is contact. Please explain difference between Avijja Pacca Sankhara and above.
Avijja Pacca Sankhara. So this even we just touched it today based on the Parisamuppada. So when we are considerably ignorant, so how we see things are more as the objects, as people, as he, she, mother, father, like that. So how we encounter the world, how we experience the world as someone, some person, my loved person, my beloved son, my beloved wife, this and that. And the objects are there. And once we see in that point of view, so mind is tempted to further fabricate, so further do some constructions, further do some manipulations, doing some your own additions, value judgments into the picture, into the scene. Rather than simply see and let it go, you see, but you see something. This something is very important, and you want to talk about it, think about it, memorize about it, predict about it, own it. So now these constructions are going on. So the sankhara, therefore, comes like the very basic form is the kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. So there are bodily formations, that your bodily activities are there, verbal formations, mental formations. Particularly the mental formations, where you do the internal fabrications, that is helpful for consciousness and name and form to get tangled. So yes, please, yes, come in.
Avasaraya Bhante, I thought like Sankhara, Passa comes much later, like, Avijja Pacca Sankhara, then Sankhara Pacca Vijnana, like that, and then comes Passa.
I got to your point. So how then Passa causes Sankhara?
Yes.
Understood. Correct. Good question. So this, what I was explaining is at the very mental level, how the conditioning process going on, the fabrication process going on, and your own preparations, your value judgments, things are going on. And then, so that is one level. That is one level causing you to get tangled with the mental image appearing in your mind, and then do further additions, subtractions, multiplications, all that, in developing some momentum. And now name and form and consciousness, as we discussed, are building up to some level. Now you get up, now you walk, sense bases are there, and the further gross level contact is there going on. So that is we can say at one level how the sankharas are defined. But the passa causes sankhara, when we are talking of the 5 aggregates. So 5 aggregates, sankhara khanda. So sankhara khanda are more into mental side. We are not talking much about the bodily activities, Rather, the other sankhara are defined using the various mental activities, say wholesome thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, equanimous type of thoughts, different kinds of mental formations are there. Mental formations are the main group we are talking. So these mental formations are fairly initiated once you go through some kind of a contact. Now that we can explain, say like in the Madhupindika Sutta, where when eye and the form is in line, then some sort of consciousness happen, the cognition happen, then there is a feeling happen that cause you to, actually already the contact is there, then the feeling happen, that cause you to recognize, and now you are tempted to think. So thinking part totally is under the mental formations. So the before thinking, before mental formations, the contact is essential. So that contact is not merely the, as we discussed, it's not merely the physical type of contact, but even the recognition part, the adivachana sampassa is also there. So the contact is a precursor for the thoughts to happen. So without that contact, so thoughts can't pop up. But at the say Patissamuppada level, I feel it's maybe even subtle. So our mind has a tendency to fabricate. Small simile is, now say you are given a lump of clay. And assume now you want to prepare a pot. So where the pot is? Pot is in your mind. You haven't yet prepared it, right? What you have is a lump of clay. Now you do the changes to this lump of clay. You are molding it, turning it, and this and that way the part of the potter. Ultimately you end up with a pot. So this is the fabrication part. So what we do in our mind. So whenever a certain object pops up in our mind, we simply do not let it go as it is. We add our own additions, value judgments, our preferences, likes, dislikes, all that into it, and we do the fabrication. And then it becomes a emotion even.
So Bhante, basically Paticca Samuppada, Sankhara and Vijnana are slightly different to the Pancha Upadanaskandha, Sankhara and Vijnana, is it?
I feel the Sankhara and the Patissamuppada level is talking very subtle tendencies available in the mind. But at the Sankhara Khanda level, they may be at the surface level of the mind, how thoughts are now appearing. Now say for example, when we are talking of the defilements, we are talking the Anusaya, Pariyutthana, Vitikkama. Anusaya is the one, the latent tendencies, not yet operative, but they are there like. But the Pariyutthana is where they have come to the active level now, come to the surface of the mind. Now they are appearing like maybe lust, maybe hatred, maybe delusion, maybe different, say jealousy, different, say thoughts are there. Defiled states are there. Maybe wholesome, unwholesome, both are there. And then compelled by that, you go and hit the person, then you go for the transgression. So I feel that the Sankhara we are talking at the Patissamuppada level, at the early stage, Avijja Pacca Sankhara. So they are based on the ignorance, our mind has that tendency to fabricate. So we ignorantly see things as objects, as persons, so concepts, and then we are tempted to take it as one thing, one person, one object, and we get grasped about it, we have our judgments about it, our memories about it, likes, dislikes about it. Now I am compelled to fabricate. I can't keep myself quiet. So, but it is taking to the very grosser level also. Later I am thinking, definitely. Even though this tendency is there, later this tendency is taking me to the thinking level. Isn't it? I am thinking. But the Sankhara, the very early stage is this very subtle level of tendency, but later it will manifest to a very active thinking level. So I feel there is a relationship also But when we talk the sankhara khanda, it may be talking the more grosser type of thinking. And Buddha, if you refer what you call this Kajjaniya Sutta, you can see how Buddha is defining the sankhara. Sankatang abhisankharonti ko bhikkhave tasma sankharati uchati. Sankatang abhisankharonti. Sankata means conditioned phenomena. So conditioned phenomena you further fabricate, you further condition. So that is why it is called sankhara. So the one main function of sankhara is to further fabricate, further condition, further color it. So that's why we can't simply be. We want to contribute. I want to participate. I am adding my own things. So ultimately when one calms down, relax and say he is in the Nibbana, all sankharas are stilled, calm down. Sabba sankhara samata. Yeah.
People have been listening to your sermon yesterday, Bhante. This is also about the sermon. Venerable Bhante, during the Dhamma sermon yesterday, you asked a question as to why we do not take much notice of things takes place in front of us while we are concentrating on walking meditation. You went on to explain that the contact has two parts, that is Adivachana Sampassa and Patigha Sampassa. In my mind, it is only Tinnan Sangati Passo. Can you please elaborate a bit more on the part of Adivachana Sampassa and Patigha Sampassa?
Yeah, I mean, you can refer, if you want more detailed explanation, you can refer Mahanidana Sutta, available in the Digha Nikaya. By the way, these are some difficult areas, difficult to understand. So this is my little understanding I am trying to share with you. So the Passa has two areas, two components. So the one part is the physical contact happening at the form level, what we call the Patigha Sampassa. Say, I am hitting like this. This is also Patigha Sampassa. So physical contact is there. I am hitting like this. This is also Patigha Sampassa. What's the difference? This I can't recognize because assume that I don't have this hand also involved. It's happening naturally. Say due to the flowing of wind. Say this cloth touching this. This is also contact. But it is only physical. So the Patigha Sampassa is into the physical world where the physical contact is there. But when it is touching like this, now this is into the live body. So I can feel it, I can recognize it. Oh, this heavy, or this I can give an interpretation to this. So likewise, I can immediately recognize it. So that is not only the mere physical contact, now the mental contribution is also there, the recognition is also there, what we call the Adivachana Sampassa is also there. So mental contribution, the mental recognition part is the Adivachana Sampassa. So whenever physical contact happens at the physical world, so that you being recognized, you are interpreting it using the Adivachana Sampassa, which are available to you from your mental part. So that's why both are need to be available, satisfied. Then only we can say in the live world, contact has happened. So the contact to happen, therefore the name and form is a prerequisite. Namarupa Pacca Passo. So typically in the Patissamuppada, how we say, Avijja Pacca Sankhara, Sankhara Pacca Viññānaṁ, Viññāna Pacca Nāmarūpaṁ, Nāmarūpa Pacca Salayatanam, Salayatana Pacca Passo. That's also there. The Passa, name and form, Salayatana, then Passa. So if we ignore the middle part, Namarupa causes Passa. So the name and form part is an essential part for you to do this recognition. Your mental contribution is a must, therefore. So that's what I felt. Please come in. So that's what I felt as we practice Vipassana. So your mental interpretations, your definitions, your inner contributions become less and less. You let things only at the physical level, not adding your own judgments. So the mind become calm, relaxed, not going to the level of talking, thinking, involvement, etc. Yeah.
Excuse me, I would like to refer this Mahanidana Sutra. This comes in the Abhidharma Bhajaniya Paticcasamuppada Vigrahaya. It's called, other than this Shadayatana, the last ayatana is Manayatana. Then Manayatana Pacha Passu. Then that comes with these Nama and Passe. Nama
Mano Sampasse.
Actually, that comes in Arupa Loka.
Exactly.
You don't have
no physical
Rupa,
contact.
no Shadayatana. Then it's only the Manayatana. It's called Chattayatana in Abhidharma Bhajaniya Paticcasamuppada Vigraha. Actually, it refers this Mahanidana Sutra.
Sorry?
Mahanidana Sutra. According to Mahanidana Sutra, this Chattayatana is called Chattayatana. It's not Salayatana, it's Chattayatana. That is called Manayatana.
No, Salayatana, Chattayatana. So all actually Salayatana indicate the name Salayatana says the 6 sense bases.
Yes.
So Chattayatana particularly says the 6th sense base.
One, yes.
The 6th one. So 6th one is the Manayatana. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that may be the actually there's no Rupa part of the ayatana. It's only it's another Nama ayatana is causing Passa. That may be these Adivachana Sampasse comes into that sense, I understand.
Adivachana Sampassa may be there. How about the Paticca Sampassa?
Paticca Sampasse comes with some ayatana.
Now
with
say
Rupa.
for example you get a mental object to your mind.
Yes.
So how the Passa happens?
Paticca Sampasse comes immediately with
How?
the Paticca Sampassa comes with the eye and the...
No eye involved. Your eyes are closed. Suppose your eyes are closed and no sounds, but immediately you remember yesterday an event in your mind.
Yeah.
So how the Paticca Sampassa we define there?
I don't think you will get Paticca Sampassa there.
Sorry?
That's it. That comes into Adivachana Sampassa.
So that's why these areas further we need to investigate. How are we introducing how the contact happens at the mind level, and typically both components are necessary. So how are we explaining this using this theory at the mind level? So need to explore it. Need to think about it, how to apply it at that level. So actually, if we go to the Abhidhamma, they may tell something different because they are talking about the Hadevattu. So all the thoughts have a physical base, that is the Hadevattu Rupa.
Yes.
So thoughts are not mere mental phenomena, but they are having the support of the Hadevattu Rupa.
Right.
So they take it to another level, introducing this Hadevattu.
Yes.
So therefore all the 5 aggregates, all these mental phenomena, so they are talking the contribution coming from Hadevattu Rupa.
Yes, another question I would like to ask. If you have got to recognize something, you need to have Adivachana Sampassa in the process, is it?
Yeah.
Otherwise you won't recognize.
Exactly. So that's why the argument Buddha makes. So if you were to know any kind of a physical contact, so if you don't have this mental participation, you can't have this. So then that is how the Buddha argues and proves, okay, this name and form is a must for the contact to happen. So the name and form is a prerequisite for the contact to happen. Name and form is completely mental.
Right.
So that is how he argues, okay, Namaru Pachya Passu. Namarupa cause passa, contact. Namarupa is a must. So, I mean, very, very subtle explanations are there, bit difficult actually.
Okay.
So, how he is arguing and how the Adivachana Sampassa, Patika Sampassa, all these things are there. And certain different explanations are also given by different teachers. A bit difficult area, by the way. So, this is how I understood. But still I have no answer when it comes to the mental level. So how the Patika Sampassa happens at the mental level. So is it enough to have only the Adivachana Sampassa?
Yes, sir.
So is Adivachana Sampassa can happen without Patika Sampassa? So these are the areas that we further have to look into.
Okay,
Not yet found a good answer.
Thanks, sir. There was a
Yeah.
Report number 6, Venerable Bhante, walking meditation. I choose different walking paths at different times and realized all are not the same. Some have more sand, which I could feel the differences easily. I managed to notice touching and non-touching areas on my feet. Sometimes mind wanders with thoughts but could bring it back to my feet. Sitting meditation. I sat on a bench between trees. Surrounding area was very calm. I concentrate on my breath. It was easy to notice stomach going up and down rather than noticing the breath in nostrils. Maybe after 10 to 15 minutes, I couldn't notice that too. I observed peaceful mind, no disturbances from thoughts. I observed some sounds but didn't get distracted by those. I just observed it only. Surrounding area was so silent. I managed to hear sounds of silence too. On and off, I changed my position. Some thoughts came, but again I managed to go back to that calm and peaceful place very quickly. No need to go from the beginning, like noticing the breath, in-breath, out-breath, etc. After 15 minutes break, I sat again and managed to observe the same situation again. I never expected mind to be so calm as soon as I sat, as my mind was distracted from so many office, house-related work. Give me your valuable advice, Bhante. Much merits.
Yeah, just continue. I mean, you are in the correct track. Let it happen. Because if you are properly managing it, you are open to that experience. Say you went through recognizing various different phenomena and how quickly they come and go, and your fair amount of wisdom is developed, so that now you are not grasping things and you let things go, and now you are open up to the non-grasping state of mind. So mind can entertain that actually. So typically what happens is, because of our ignorance, we see things as objects and this and that and people, etc. So we grasp things and we brood on that. We think too much on that. But now as a result of the practice, now we are able to calm it down, let go, fade away things, and even it happens to the thinking. Now thinking also disappeared. No thoughts and no objects, but you are fully aware. It's possible, available. So therefore, as it happens more and more, and then you'll be able to quickly attune to that. You don't need that previous orderly type of practice to attain that. Rather, you are quickly accessible to that. That's a practice. That's why again and again we need to practice to achieve it, to reach that. So once you are familiarized with it, then you don't need this previous practice. You can quickly jump to that. Maintain that now. So again and again practice it, maintain that, dwell in it as much as possible. Make it like your home. Bhavita, bahuli kata, yani kata, vattu kata, anuttita, parichita, susamaradha. You have to do that. So asevita. Again and again you need to associate it. Bhavita, further developed. Bahuli kata, make it abundant. Yani kata, make it like your own vehicle. Quickly take it and go. At any time you can jump to that. Yani kata, vattu kata. your mind is very much like based on that. Make it like your home. Vattu kata, anuttita, again and again practiced. Parichita, very similar. Said developed practice parichita. Anuttita, parichita, susama raddha. You achieve that again and again. Well started again and again. So as we are doing that, then it becomes the nature of the mind. So it is available. You don't need to prepare it, it's there. So why we couldn't have it? Because we fabricated. We added so much of things. So this is the home position of the mind, very much like. So this is the default of the mind, but we miss the default. Because we do many fabrications, all these conditioned phenomena, and we were dwelling in the conditioned phenomena, forgetting about the default, not knowing the default. Default is this, the canvas. You reach back to the canvas now. No images, no artwork, back to the canvas. Be aware, fully live. Nothing is there. Enjoy it.
Report number 7. Dear Bhante, what is the role of joy in meditation?
Joy? How to give a definition? Because without joy you can't achieve even a concentration, or anything is not possible without joy. By the way, it will turn into more into the equanimity, but it's relevant even at the samatha as well as in the vipassana. At samatha, say if you achieve first jhana, joy is there. Second jhana, still joy is there. Third jhana, the happiness is there. Only at the fourth jhana, you turn it entirely into the equanimity. And again in the vipassana, say as you practice mindfulness, then you are supposed to recognize phenomena thoroughly, clear comprehension, dhamma vichaya, and when it happens properly, then only the piti arises. Sati sambojjhanga, dhamma vichaya sambojjhanga, virya sambojjhanga, piti sambojjhanga. So immediately piti might not be available because you are still struggling. You know that you need to balance the faculties, you have to properly focus your attention, various phenomena are there. They are quickly passing away, you have to properly look at them. So slowly you develop that skill. So once that skill is available, well balanced, now the joy happens, now the piti happens. So then the passaddhi, the tranquility happens. Even in vipassana, passaddhi, samadhi, concentrated but at different phenomena, not like jhana, not like samatha, but many different phenomena arising and passing away, then and there, again and again, you are able to maintain that. Samadhi is there. And then ultimately the upekha, nothing to do, let it happen. So likewise, joy plays a big role in the practice, samatha as well as vipassana.
Number 9. Dear Venerable Sir, yesterday you mentioned if we won't get something, accept it. I love to live in my village house, but my family doesn't like that. Don't know why these days my mind frequently remind me to go to village house. So sometimes I have arguments also. I feel like I can't fulfill these dreams. Sometimes I cry also. In a way it's good. If I got that house, I won't come for retreats also. Don't know whether I'll become a ghost also. How can I get rid of this desire which I know I never can accomplish? By thinking about trilakshana.
By thinking about trilakshana. So one thing is, these are all proliferation. What you have written is very much like you have gone to a kind of a imagination, thinking about the past house, what you have referred and what you have associated. Assume now you are in the city, but still thinking about the past experience. So like a child, say you had your past childhood experience, but still loving that, still thinking about it, but now you are an adult, living in the society, living in the city. So think about you. Why am I still fond of that? So let go of this thinking. So no point of again and again brooding about it, ruminating about it, because these are our past experiences. We all have our past experiences. So I had my childhood living in Panadure with my parents. Now none of the parents are living. My house is rented to someone. If I dream about it, going back to my house, is it correct? No point. So we have to accept the change. The now new government change has to accept it. Either you like it or not, you have to accept it now. Same thing. So we have to move forward in the life rather than thinking about the past and dreaming about it, crying about it. I was there like this. Not necessary. So this is the proliferation. This is a real example of proliferation. So don't encourage proliferation. Rather practice Vipassana and live in the present moment. Encourage living in the present moment. So that is the only solution. Then you will understand, okay, they are merely thoughts. I don't need to give much emphasis to it. It's merely thoughts. Now what happened? So the content of the thought takes you to a long journey to your past. You are obsessed about the past experience. So this is complete unmindfulness. So therefore, invitation is to establish mindfulness in the present moment. Don't encourage thinking. Be with the present moment. And say you do walking meditation, there are various sensations, left foot, right foot. So likewise, develop this present moment awareness, not encouraging the thinking. So that will be a good solution for you. Yeah.
That's all, Bhante. And there was a lady who wanted to speak about one of her questions, which is too long to write. So
okay,
we can give her a chance.
Sure.
Sorted out, it seems.
Okay. Good. Yes, please.
Bhante, this is about the consciousness that we were discussing very in detail, but I came to an understanding, and that I want to verify with you. What it means for me right now is that's the ability of recognizing characteristics of an object. Object can be physical or a mental. But when it comes, why I am sort of coming out with this particular way with an example, say for example, if we sort of taste some sort of, say, chocolate or something like that, you get a chocolate or toffee or something like that, you get a sweet taste. But if you don't have a tongue consciousness, will that be able to sort of recognize that particular characteristics? Because normally it says, even if you see something, if you don't have eye consciousness, you won't be able to sort of see that.
Correct.
Is that there is an extension for the question? Or is it the cognizing that characteristics of in the mind and reflecting later on? Two tricky questions actually, Bhante.
So the mind, if we consider the mind consciousness, that is different.
That is where the problem. I didn't come to that because you have ended up with a question mark in the previous one. Because how the mind object can be contact, passa with the memory. So therefore that I block that. So but other one, it's easy to understand, all other five consciousness. So is that the sort of ability of recognizing the characteristics of an object?
Yeah. Actually, these are interrelated. If you refer Mahavedalla Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya, so this question is asked. So this sanya and the consciousness, are they both? Are they have interrelated? Yes, they are interrelated. So therefore now, for us to understand it in a easy terms, in a more understandable way, so Buddha has presented it kind of an orderly manner. Chakkunja padicca rupechu upajjati chakku viññānaṁ. So chakku, the eye, and the form cause to produce the eye consciousness. Tinnan sangati passo. Then this process happens repeatedly. Now we get the perception. Now three things are there: eye, form, eye consciousness. But eye consciousness is a dependent phenomena. It can't happen by itself. Even though it appears like the third, it is a product of eye and the contact. So eye and the form. Now say for example, assume this is a matchstick. Matchbox. I have taken out the matchstick and do it. Then the the kindle happens, the flame happens. The flame is actually a product of this thing, isn't it? It doesn't belong to any of these, but it's a product of cause. I mean, it caused because of these two factors. So similarly, I and the form has caused to produce the I consciousness, but it happens repeatedly. Then we see, okay, these three things are there together. Now the passa is coming to the effect.
Yeah,
the contact comes to the effect.
Once the characteristics are understood, and when it is stored in the memory, so that's
that is the sanya actually. That is the recognition part. Tinna sankati passo passa pacca vedana yang vedeti tang sanjanati. So once there's a feeling, now you are compelled to recognize it. What it is.
Yeah.
Now you are compelled to recognize it.
Yeah.
So that recognition part may contribute from your past memory and all that stored information now coming to play and helps you to recognize this, what it is.
Yeah.
And once you recognize it, you can't stop your mind, you are compelled to think.
Yeah. Right. On that
thinking
point
is there now.
Yeah. On that point onward, coming up to a hypothetical sort of example, say for example, one person could taste any kind of a food item, let's say. Mm-hmm. So he knows now what is the taste of that, either sweet or bitter or whatever. So that it is stored in the memory.
Correct.
And due to, say, consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So now, somehow or other, so that particular ability disappeared from him. Mm-hmm. It can happen now. I mean, I conscious, that can happen. So now he sees any particular object which he has been already recognized, even though the consciousness is not there. He knows that now, okay, this particular object has this particular characteristics. How do you explain that? In
consciousness is there or the recognition?
No, that's what I want to know. That
I feel the consciousness may be there, the recognition has certain discrepancies, distortions.
That's right. So still the consciousness is there, right? And he recognizes as on a stored characteristics in his memory.
So because, the distortions can happen at this process.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I mean to say that cognizing that actually.
During this cognition process, so fair contributions happen from our inner tendencies also.
Yeah.
Say, it is not mere physical recognition, but I at my own likes, dislikes, my past memories, my cultural conditioning, all that are playing. That is why the recognition part is a fairly distorted recognition.
Yeah.
The sanya vipallasa, we talk sanya vipallasa.
Yeah.
That means, so the cognition part, rather we say the recognition part is not 100% correct.
Right.
The recognition part is faulty, it's defective.
That's right.
So therefore, assume that, as you said, now your senses are, the senses I mean in the tongue, because one getting old, say they are not operative.
Yeah.
Even though it's a tasty food, you are unable to recognize it, isn't it?
That is what you call the consciousness
missing
part.
Now.
Right. That's what you call the consciousness part of that, is it?
The consciousness, because
we came
these are interrelated.
Yeah.
So even though the consciousness is trying to give you the correct picture, your faculty is not sharp now, so it can't produce the information as before.
Yes.
Correct information, correct taste as before.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Right. So then finally we can come to a conclusion that say, okay, capability of or the ability of recognizing the characteristics of an object, right?
That's the thing. So the consciousness typically vijanati dikho bhikkave tasma viññānanti uchati. So this is the definition given. Vijanati. Vijanati means distinctly recognize, distinctly knowing. Say here, so there are few objects here. Now I can distinctly recognize this as the clock, this as the fan, this as the bell, this as the stand, this as the mic. Distinctly recognizing.
Yes.
So now I have given even more than that. I mean, I have given a name to it. Recognition part is also there. So everything is well interrelated and coming together very quickly. But in order for us to understand one after the other, Buddha say, okay, first the consciousness, then the passa, then vedana, then sanya, then thinking.
Right.
Because they are very quick coming together. I mean, when we are talking the 5 aggregates, it is not that the aggregates are not orderly presented. Orderly in the sense from the chronological order. They are happening instantaneously together. At any given instance, all the 5 aggregates are present. Isn't it?
I didn't question about the mental object and contacting with the mind. So that may be more complex actually, as what you said earlier, for that gentleman's question. So which we don't know really.
Yeah. We'll see, look at that, how this mental contact happens.
Yeah.
Mano sampassa. So we'll find out a solution.
Yeah.
Very interesting areas, by the way.
Probably it may be the interest
but
of
don't think too much.
Interest of the mind. Probably it may be the interest of the mind.
Correct.
Thank you, both.
Okay, then we'll wind up the session, and thank you for active participation. And we'll have the Dhamma sermon as usual at 4 p.m. Thero and Sanai.